Okay, something a bit different this time. This time we're flying a Grob 115E Tutor. We've done a visual flight plan from Les Apertures, which is in La Chaux-de-Fonds, in the west part of Switzerland, and we're flying to Saanen in the eastern, well, not really that eastern, but kind of central area. We've done a bit of a crazy idea of just basically completely VFRing it, so I used a bit of Freeburg's VOR, but right now what I'm doing is I'm descending into the left traffic pattern for the crazy approach. So I actually need to be at about 4,800 feet, and then I'm going to turn right. The airport is actually just behind this hill in front of us there. You can just about see the runway over there. So we're going to now turn right into the traffic pattern at 4,800 feet. So there's my right turn now, and there's 4,800, so I've got to maintain that now. This is a Grob Tutor. They're very, very nice aircraft to fly. It's actually where I learned how to do real world flying in this. It's just turned downwards, so I'm going to put flaps 1 in. I'm going to kind of aim for this kind of hilly area. We're a bit low, so just get back up. And I'm using the manifold pressure as a kind of judge of the amount of power needed. So about 20 is needed to maintain speed. Mixture is actually quite conveniently set here, so we're at 4,800 feet, 5,053 should be right, so I need a little bit less mixture, and that should keep me going quite nicely there. So this is kind of the point where we sort of make our final turn. So reduce down to about 15 manifold pressure, flaps 2, make that left turn now. Deliberately dropping a bit. Now we kind of aim for this bit here, the gap in the trees. You can see there's a sort of hill on the left, hill on the right, and a kind of timber yard between, and we're kind of going to fly over that timber yard. Saanen traffic, Golf Victor Foxtrot, turning final, runway 06. I think it's 06, I have no idea. So now we're on final, we can put down the last bit of flaps, mixture full, throttle as required. Fuel pump comes off. Actually, we want that on in case we need to do a go around. There we go. So on final with about 80 knots. We want to be touching down at 65, so we're going to aim for the threshold markers now. I'm actually not that unused to this right hand seat because that's how I flown this aircraft in real life. So this is quite okay for me. Just dive behind the mountain there. Trimming it a bit. Okay. There we go. Let's do another one. Pressure to come back up, we'll aim for 60 knots. I'm going to use a bit of this extended threshold to lift off. Okay. We're going to do one traffic pattern, I think. Follow the river. We're trying to get up to 4,800 feet. Just pitch down to get my climb speed up a bit. So 3,000 feet, we want 56. Again, now we've got the flaps up, let's do some aerobatics over here. So So obviously we need a little bit of altitude, and this is the Hazel checks, which is the Navy's kind of, and the RAF as well. The checks for height. Do we have enough height to do the manoeuvres? A, can't remember. S, can't remember. There's somewhere in here. I've got a checklist for it here. Hazel checks. Height, sufficient, airframe clean, flaps up, security, can't be closed lock yet. Engine, fuel pump on. There it is. Location, the nearest airfield's all behind us, and lookout, is there anyone nearby? No. Cool. So if we want to, we can start doing some aerobatics if I deem that we've got enough altitude. We're at 5,000 feet now, which means we're about 1,000 above, so we need another 1,000 feet before this is really fair. So I'm just going to climb it up. Keep it about 90 knots for the climb. We're kind of going down towards Lydie up there, which is where we've got a glacial ski area. You can kind of see that in the mountains above. Because we need 2,000 feet to recover from a spin, so we need to be at least 2,000 above the ground. Which is not so easy in the mountains, and to be honest, performing aerobatics in the mountains is probably not the best idea in the world. However, this is a simulator, so... Right, let's do a split S. So split S, we need a bit more speed to get into, so I'm just going to level off and accelerate. There's even got some sort of things here, what speed you need to do each one. So split S, we want 86, maybe Immelman it needs for 132. So at 132 knots we're going to do an Immelman, which I think is when you go up and over. Because I need to gain the altitude, so there's 130, we pull back on the stick. Stall warning, and then we flip it the right way up. There's an Immelman. So that's gained us about 1,000 feet. So if we do another one of those, point the nose down, do a little bit of picking up speed, that'll get us up to altitude quite nicely. So 1,120, we need 132 for the manoeuvre. Do it a little bit quicker because we want to gain quite a bit of height. Faster, come on, faster. There's 130, let's get to 140 and then we'll try it. Location wise, as long as we pull directly back, we'll be okay. Now we're at 7,000 dead, which is good because that's now about 4,000 above, so we can do a spin. So we're going to trim the aircraft for 100 knots, we're going to reduce throttle to idle and just hold it. Location wise, as long as we go directly down, we'll be okay. These are quite easy to recover from in this, we just full rudder the other direction. So to actually start the spin, we just keep pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. And when we start hearing the stall warning, we do full rudder. There's a recovery. Back on the power. Let's do a loop, why not? Loops are fun. So we've got 4,000 feet, let's get some speed up. 140 knots, pull back. Whee! Okay, I'm going to land on the other runway now. So we're going to reduce manifold pressure down to 1,000 and start descending. Using the village as a reference point in that river. So if we descend to the pattern altitude of 4,800. which is there. There's one. Looking for the airport. Give it a bit of gas so we don't lose everything. I really wish the hat switch would be like the old Microsoft, where you could still look around using the hat switches rather than just having these fixed views. Like for example, the 45 degrees hat doesn't do anything, which is really kind of annoying actually. Okay, so there's the runway at the airport. So let's start descent now.